Hi everyone. Okay, um, I'm posting this video to ask a question. Yeah, my chair makes a lot of noise. What is fear mongering? What is fear porn? I really am serious in asking that question. I always thought that it was when somebody is posting false information, lies, just to elicit fear in people. And clearly, I'm wrong about that because I see comments like that under my video and a whole lot of them under my last video where William Mount was, presenting a scenario that is actually plausible. Um, and I say that based on my research, my base of knowledge. I can say that that is absolutely a scenario that could unfold. Um, But getting back to the fear mongering, what is that exactly? I see under other videos where people are claiming that these people are, and I'm not going to mention any names, but they're putting up fear porn, and I guess to get higher views or make money off of AdSense. I'm not quite sure how fear porn would do that, but what exactly is it? Many of those who are considered to be fear mongers, I see posting videos, and they actually link to sources. And based on the information that they're reporting in their videos, I know that it's actually accurate because I've done research, and I, through my own research, can state that the information that they're saying is true. Is it the delivery of the information? Because there are people who have a certain kind of delivery that is rather dramatic, and it kind of, hits me the wrong way. But I'm about the information. I'm not about how it's delivered or the personality that's delivering it. And I think most of my subscribers who have been with me for years know that I am about the information. That's it. That's it. Not about the personalities, not about the delivery, um, simply the information. And I have posted videos where I've gotten it wrong, and I then post a correction. But, and many people have actually, in the years that I've been on YouTube, I've seen comments where people have called me a fearmonger. Now, and I've also seen comments where people are claiming that I'm giving in to fear. I don't understand this. First of all, I am not afraid. I'm not afraid of anything that is going to be unfolding. I have my fears, but they're more related to my personal life, and that's a whole other video. But I'm not afraid of what might happen and what has happened, and I'm not afraid to speak out, and I just don't have any fear about that kind of stuff. And I've spent an awful lot of time trying to figure out why people are afraid. Um, and I can come up with a whole list of why people are afraid. They have things to lose. They don't want to suffer. A whole lot of stuff. But, and I can't quite say that my not being afraid is tied to my losing everything. It may just be that I don't fear death. And it may also be that I regard truth as sacrosanct. That's it. It is the highest, and I will die for it. And I know that about me. And so I don't fear anything that is coming down the pike. And the information that not only from William Mount, but there's a whole lot of information coming out from all sources that is horrifying information. And the fact is that we're living a rather horrifying time. Now, I say horrifying to describe the time that we're living. It has nothing to do with fear or me being afraid. But we are absolutely living a rather unimaginable, horrifying time right now, in real time, today. The reality that we are living now is a reality that if we were talking about it 5 years prior to now, many people would have been claiming, and they have claimed, that people were fear-mongering. You know, oh, you're fear-mongering. We won't ever lose our due process rights. We're not being depopulated by, you know, the spraying of toxic chemicals. Oh, come on, those cell phone towers. They're fine. They're for clear, good reception on our cell phones. They're not being used as weapons. You know, what we're living right now is pretty extraordinary. It's, and I say extraordinary not in a good sense, but out of the ordinary, to say the least. Everything that has occurred in this country, certainly since 9/11, has been the kind of, like, jarring, you know, and so what could be unfolding in September? We know the economy is collapsing. We know the dollar is going to be devalued. We know a whole lot of people are going to be suffering those consequences. We know the Rothschilds are behind much of what's going on. Many of us know the Jesuits are evil. So what is it that William Mount said that inspired such a backlash of, he's a fearmonger, he's putting out fear porn? And the argument that because of his delivery, which is rather blunt, matter of fact, and then says, have a wonderful day, is really not an argument. You know, how many times have I posted videos and then posting videos on rather horrific information and then said, well, have a great day, you know? That's a personality thing. That's a, you know, and I'm sure many of you have heard me at the end of the video posting this horrific information going, how do I close this? You know, do I say, have a great day? Well, you know, I mean, it is a matter of fact that we're living an insane time. Insane. And some of this information gets reported, and then you go, well, okay. But we have a whole lot of different personalities on YouTube. Some people report it like mainstream media reporters, very bland, never offer their opinion, and that's it, the information. Other people have this dramatic delivery, and, you know, it seems almost like, you know, put on. Yeah, I often rant and, you know, get, you know, well, you've heard it, you know, my personality is, well, it's not the kind of lovable personality that a whole lot of people want to listen to, and I understand that. I get very passionate and very angry at times, and a whole lot of different, you know, I guess my delivery has a full range. You know, sometimes I sound heartbroken, sometimes I'm, you know, very frustrated, and but because I'm expressing emotion doesn't mean that I'm wanting to elicit fear from people. Again, the only reason why I post is simply for information that people can acquire, obtain, think about, put it in the back of their head, realize that, okay, that is a possible scenario, and then prepare accordingly. So I'm not sure how it is I don't know William Mount. Um, and But I do know my own research, and I do know my own base of knowledge. So when I hear things that I know either is true, or when somebody's presenting a scenario that is a possibility, then I post it. And we do have disinformation agents out there, and I understand that. And it's unfortunate that we have an awful lot of adults who are not their own leader, and they follow personalities. That is dangerous. It should only be the truth that people try to seek and forget about the personalities. So this Alex Jones, whether he's a disinformation agent or not, I don't care. All I care about is the information. And yeah, I'm not a lover of his personality, and he goes off on these rants, and all right, sometimes it's a little bit much for me, but it's the information, and much of the information that he reports is accurate and can be verified, and that's the most important thing. It's verifying the information, and that's important for everybody to do. If they're hearing information that they don't have a base of knowledge, that they can just verify it by hearing it, then you've got to do the research to find out whether or not it is, true or not. But, and I also watch Alex Jones for the information that's imparted from those he interviews. There are disinformation agents out there that, unfortunately, there's evidence that supports that. Amy Goodman, Democracy Now!, case in point. It was heartbreaking for me, and I've said this before. She was one person who, if I was somebody who had heroes, she would have been it. I donated to Democracy Now! For years and years. I donated, and in her mother's name, when her mother died, I saw her speak. I thanked her personally. She has integrity stamped on her forehead. She is, by far, the quintessential disinformation agent for liberal progressives. And when I found out that actually she does get indirect funding from the CIA, from George Soros, she has a salary that's over $1 million. She went from this little studio in a firehouse in New York to this huge studio, all green, all this equipment. Suddenly she's got this huge staff that seemed to explode overnight. Where did that all come from? Her viewers donating? No. And yes, it was very hard to take. I mean, she was so knocked off a pedestal, and she was the last one to go for me, and it was like, okay, I learned my lesson. You do not follow people. It's the truth that is the most important thing. But I still watch Democracy Now! Why? Because she is a brilliant disinformation agent. She puts out 90% truth, and on global warming, she is on 100% the lie. And she is a big global warming, climate change promoter of a lie. She goes around the country claiming that she, on Democracy Now!, presents a forum for all voices. Well, you go on to the Democracy Now! Website and you see if you can find one interview with a scientist that actually disputes global warming, this man-made global warming claim. But I'm now at a point that I'm wise enough to listen to Democracy Now! And kind of get the truth for what it's, reported for, and leave it at that. Now, William Mount spoke an awful lot of what other people actually speak about: the Rothschilds, the devaluation of the dollar, the reset, bank reset, bank holidays. Um, uh, Many people have also talked about the Russian and Chinese invasion, nuclear war perhaps in March, anarchy, for a particular time. And yes, I understand that he used the word anarchy wrongly. Okay, well, guess what? The way we have been taught in our country is not right. And a whole lot of people use language incorrectly, not properly. There's a whole lot of people who are still describing our country as a democracy, not a constitutional republic. Does that mean that they're disinformation agents? No. It means that they're still caught in their indoctrination. This is an awakening. It's not, you don't suddenly just get awake. It's a process of awakening. So I'm going to keep the video on my channel. And I do think that it's important that we all get information from different sources. And based on your knowledge, your research, the knowledge that's based on your research, you can determine for yourself what you're hearing, if what you're hearing is accurate or not. If it's plausible, if they're talking about a future, scenario that could unfold, if that is plausible. I hope I'm making sense. So I just wanted to clarify for everybody. The posting of that video was not me caving to fear. The posting of that video was not me promoting a fear mongerer. The posting of that video was for everybody to hear the information and then determine for yourself whether or not you believe it is accurate. And it's unfortunate that we do have so many people in our country that get influenced by personalities. They do kind of hang on to one person. I'm sure a lot of people follow Alex Jones and hang on every word he says. But it's not my responsibility or anybody else's responsibility to protect them from that. It is their responsibility to grow up and to do the research and to be their own leader and to follow only truth, to seek it, and to not listen to just one person. I'm sure that all of us have had those experiences where we found out, okay, this person ain't what they claim to be. And we learned our lessons, that we're not interested anymore in the person, in the personality, that there is a bigger principle than the individual who's reporting the information. And that is the truth. And yeah, it's a very, very difficult time to be living when you're just inundated with lies and propaganda and disinformation. But I will say this again. Based on what I heard from William Mount, not every word, but mostly a lot of what he said, I absolutely do believe that it could unfold that way. But there's no way of knowing how it's going to unfold. And there's a whole lot of people who talk about the blood moon and prophecy and tying in, what they know about the Bible and prophecy to current events. And no, I have a lot of, I have my own view, But listening to them, talk about the current events, many of them claim that things are going to be happening in the blood moon. He mentions the blood moon. He also mentions the year of Jubilee. I don't know anything about that, but I do listen to other people, and they do mention that. And so, where is the fear-mongering? Frankly, we are looking at a pretty horrific time that is going to be exploding. So where is the fear-mongering? We're all already living at a rather unimaginable time. And so, I mean, I don't understand. I'd really love it if somebody could just clarify, what does this fear-mongering thing mean? And again, for the videos that I've posted, if I've scared anybody, that was never my intent. But if you're scared listening to information, then I think you really need to spend some time self-reflecting and trying to figure out, what is that fear about? Do we stop posting videos about what's taking place because people might be afraid? I don't, I'm sorry, I won't do that. Anyway, I'd love to hear what you think about what I've said. This is a really important time that we're living, and we really need to be getting information from many different sources. What you do with the information is up to you. What I do with the information is I consider it, and I think about it, and it just kind of gets parked in the back of my head and go, okay, that might happen. Information that, I'm hearing for the first time, I'll do research to determine whether or not it's true. So that is really every individual's responsibility to do that. And so again, it's not about William Mount. There's a whole lot of people out there that I could care less what their motivations are, who they are, why they're doing it. I just care about the information. That's it. And maybe I'm wrong in that. Maybe I'm, I don't know. All I know is that I now kind of do this laser focus in on the information. I can't state it any more clearly. Thanks for hanging in. Thanks for listening. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'm sorry that so many people get influenced and, by other people. I don't want anybody following me. I want all of us to be our own leader, so that we're thinking for ourselves, not let anybody else think for you. That's the most important, as far as I'm concerned. That's what everybody should be doing. So that's it for now. Have a great night. Have a wonderful day. Ciao, guys.